Campsis are wonderful early autumn flowering plants. Here we've got a plant which looks a bit stunted because it was cut down quite recently. But the thing you've got to remember about Campsis is that all the flowers occur on this year's new growth. You can see that very clearly here, where you see the old wood and the new growth shoot, and it's that new growth shoot that has produced the flower. You also see with Campsis that they have this wonderful ability to self-cling themselves onto a wall, and this Campsis is growing up again. It's rooted itself onto the wall very gently, and in a relatively few years' time it'll be way up the wall again. But because Campsis flower on the new growth, when the flowering is over, you've got to look hard at your plant and prune it really quite judiciously. Here we've got a huge new growth tendril, probably 6 foot of new growth in a single year, and we need to remove that because it hasn't produced a flower this year, and Campsis flower very sparingly on second year growth. Actually, when we look closely, there is a little bit of flower to come, but this is exactly the sort of piece of new growth that you need to prune out from your Campsis. And if we look again at perhaps the same flower and the same bit of new growth, what we need to do is to think about next year, and actually when the flower is over, which I know it isn't here, we need to remove that piece of new growth so that a new shoot will come from this node or this juncture next year, and that new shoot will produce the flowers which we want to see in late August, early September, and really through to October. The plant will flower on and on. It likes to be in full sun, it likes to be up against a hot wall. But if we look here, we've got a piece of old growth with a couple of new shoots coming off it. I know I shouldn't do it before the flowers are over, but really for next year to be a great success, the best thing we can do is just to trim out some of the old dead stuff, and next year we'll get great big new shoots coming out of that, and that's where the flowers will come. So looking at this lovely bush which will soon grow up the wall, we need quite a bit of judicious pruning. It's a little bit early to do it, but what I've shown you is how you should look after your Campsis to ensure it's covered in flower this time next year.